Hello guys! If you're new here, my name is Anna and in this video we are looking back together and flipping through the whole year 2020 in my bullet journal. It's so much fun to look back and see what you've drawn and written throughout the year, so I highly encourage you to do the same and dig up those old journals and sketchbooks. But yeah, without further ado, let's just get started with this deep green Archer and Olive notebook that I used for the first half of this year. Now I of course need to blur quite a lot of personal information in these videos, but I hope you'll still get the idea of how I use my bullet journals. So for me, this is actually the third year of bullet journaling, so I've done this a while. I've definitely already figured out what works for me and what usually doesn't, but I still love trying out new ideas, new spreads, and especially new types of decorations. I think that way it's way more interesting to you as well, but it's also something that really helps me to keep myself more engaged with my journal. But yeah, as you can see, I definitely continued with the bigger paintings this year. My favorite way is always to paint on a real watercolor paper and then just attach the original to my notebook with glue or double-sided tape. Some smaller paintings here are also made directly onto the notebook, but it just gives you so much more control and freedom with the paints when you use them with a paper that's actually made for them. Also, something I really started to experiment with this year were these Dutch door layouts. I really enjoyed using them, especially in the weekly spreads, and I think I'll definitely continue experimenting with those types of layouts next year as well. I think my favorite months from this first notebook were probably either February or May. It seemed like many of you guys like those themes as well, so I'm always super happy about that. But now we're slowly reaching the end of this first journal. I always use the rest of the pages for sketching, trying out stickers, brainstorming, and stuff like that, as you can see here. But now we can switch to the white Scribbles That Matter Pro journal that I started to use from July. I always like to create a separate half-year setup as well. I think that's just a great point of the year to update and review your goals a little bit, and I personally just love coming up with the beginning pages of my journals. But then we are moving to the rest of these monthly setups as well. I think especially the last half of this year was very colorful. There were actually so many paintings that I could barely close my journal in the end. But looking back, I'm really happy about it. I feel like I gave myself a lot of chances to experiment and grow my own painting and drawing skills this year. I always try to encourage you to use your bullet journals for that kind of purpose as well, and try not to worry too much about creating these perfect paintings or something. I think viewing your journal more as a progress log is so much more beneficial and rewarding in the long term, and it also takes so much pressure out of it. Something I've also learned is that I definitely go through phases with my journals. So sometimes I get a lot of use out of it, I'm super into filling my happy trackers and so on, and then there are times that I don't remember to fill them, and sometimes I even forget to set up my weekly layouts. So if you struggle with similar problems, I hope hearing that other people go through the same thing helps. And something that personally helps me is to just let it be and not think about it too much. In the end of the day, I know I still love using my bullet journal and I know how beneficial it is, so I can always just get back to it after a small break or whatever, and maybe try something else for the next month to switch things up a little bit. But when you start blaming yourself of the empty pages, I feel like it creates just so much more negativity and pressure towards using your journal, and then it's always more difficult to keep going. So yeah, there's no right or wrong way, and I think the main point should always be that the journal benefits you somehow and not the other way around. But yeah, back to the pages. I think this year the September layout was probably my most favorite, though the Harry Potter theme from October definitely has a place in my heart as well. It was so much fun to share that month with my fellow Potterheads here. And also the landscape painting from October was by far my most time consuming spread ever. So I'm just super happy you guys seem to like it as well. It always makes all the work so worth it. But yeah, as we are reaching the end of the year, the December pages are obviously still pretty empty, but I'll post a final flip through to my Instagram in the end of the month. I'm also in the middle of updating the digital versions of all these themes for the next year, so those will slowly appear on my new online shop. I'll always update them for the same months, and I'm also gonna improve some of them a little bit. So if that's something you would be interested in, the link is in the description. But other than that, I think that's finally it for this year. I know it was a crazy one to say the least, and I'm just so grateful for having all of you here sharing it with me. I can't believe we're almost at 40,000 subscribers. Like, that's insane. But I hope you're as excited to start your new journals as I am. I think my yearly setup should be up the next weekend, I think, and then I'll post the January setup somewhere around the holidays. But yeah, I also hope you guys so happy and safe holiday season. Please stay inside, follow all the instructions and so on. You know the drill in this point, and I'm really looking forward for what the next year will bring us. But I guess that's pretty much it. I really hope you enjoyed this quick trip down the memory lane. I also hope you're having an amazing day or night wherever you are, and see you in my next one. Bye bye!